Fastlane Founders and Legacy with Jason Barnard. Each week, Jason sits down with successful entrepreneurs, CEOs, and executives and get them to share how they mastered the delicate balance between rapid growth and enduring success in the business world. How can we quickly build a profitable business that stands the test of time and becomes our legacy? A legacy we're proud of. Fastlane Founders and Legacy with Jason Barnard.
A quick hello and we're good to go. Welcome to the show, Marilyn Jenkins.
Hi, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you very much. Welcome. We're going to be talking about Google business profiles for lawyers. I'm really curious because from what I understand, it's the easy win for a lawyer.
It is, absolutely. And it's a free service.
It's a free service from Google, and we can look at how that can be a really quick win to bring clients to your law firm.
Exactly.
Right, wonderful. But before we do that, I wanted to show you this. We're specialized at CaddyCube in optimizing people's personal brand for Google search and AI. And I had a look in ChatGPT, and this happens a lot. It isn't clear about which Marilyn Jenkins I'm talking about, but as soon as I specify, you get a delightful description when it searches the web. And that's really interesting from our perspective. And I think for anybody who cares about their personal brand, that ChatGPT and other assistive engines are now using the web to supplement their results.
Exactly.
And the web, Google and Bing, are using engines like ChatGPT to supplement the search results. And it's all kind of coming together, which I love.
Yes, exactly.
I see you love it too, don't you?
Yeah, I do. I mean, and the power of using the Google Business Profile for your branding is just amazing. And the fact that Google provides that, and we think of Google My Business, or a lot of people think of Google My Business, which is the old version. The Google Business Profile is like, I think, the 8th iteration of Google Places. Yeah. And every time you get more and more features, more and more opportunities to tell Google what searches you're relevant for.
Okay, which is brilliant. Question number one is, what's the difference fundamentally for you when they changed the name from Google My Business to Google Business Profile? Was it just a rebrand, or did it actually change?
Massive new features. And like, you have a management portal that's different for different areas. They don't roll out the same thing, globally. So the management portal is so much more simple to use, much more visual, more insights. And you also have a lot more content that you can put on it. It is virtually like your own blog and your own social media. I mean, it's interesting how, Google is the #1 search engine because they provide good results for their visitors, right? Engagement is what they're looking for, and they have to provide good results. So by giving them everything you need that you can on your Google Business Profile, you're saying, I am interested in good user results as well. And they reward you for that.
The Google Business Profile is an acquisition channel, a whole acquisition channel just on its own.
Exactly.
And you were saying it's a really good way for you to explain to Google who you are and what you offer and to whom. Can you go into more detail there?
Yeah, so you want to use your actual business name. Don't use like a keyword or a city in your business name if it's not your legal business name. That will detract. You want to use your name, address, and phone number, and use it the same everywhere on the web that you list your company. But the big one is your category. That you have I believe in most places, up to 7 categories you could choose. You want to choose your category in priority order, what type of customer you want. So say you're a family law attorney, but you really want to do child custody. Then you list the child custody first, divorce second, those kinds of things. Same with personal injury. Choose what you want first, and then you keep the rest of them. So categories is the first way you show Google what you do, right?
And the categories, from what you just said, go actually quite specific.
They do, and they're predetermined. So it's not something you can go in and type in. You choose off of a list. And it's worth checking back every so often to see if that number is increased. Because when they first launched the Google Business Profile, it was 3.
Right. And you find that a lot of attorneys get that wrong?
Yes. A lot of them put law firm.
All right. Very general.
That tells nothing, right? It doesn't say anything about what you do. The other big thing is they now have posts in products and services. So think posts, think blog posts, right? Where you could do keyword rich images, the whole 9 years, and put content on your Google business profile. But on products and services, I've seen estate planning attorneys that we put, their wills and trusts, and those, and each service is its own separate service. Same for any other attorney. You can put a photo that's got named as a keyword. You describe the service using your keywords, your city, that sort of thing. Again, every little thing you give it, Google reads and says, okay, if this search comes up, you're relevant for that.
I mean, you use the word keyword, but do you really mean the name of my service very specifically stated?
Yes. So if I am a personal injury attorney and I want to focus on car accidents or motorcycle accidents, I want to have articles that mention motorcycle accidents in my state or my city. Absolutely.
Right. Okay. I mean, because the word keywords, I think, is something that people don't necessarily understand, and often as well, if people get really into the SEO and how to manage Google, keywords is not really the term we should be using. I believe it should be words that are key, and being very specific and accurate in what you're saying.
No. I mean, you're right. You're right. Because I'm old school SEO. I've been doing this since the late 90s, right? So it was keywords and keyword phrases. When I think keyword, I'm thinking whatever my potential new customer would type in.
Brilliant.
You're saying exactly the same thing. So I like the keywords, the words that are key.
Words are the key. Well, it's actually my partner who said that to me, and I thought that's loads better because it makes sense to everybody.
Exactly.
So, right, we've got categories, we've got posts, and we've got products and services that you can add. That's a lot of work adding all of that, but it's for the products and services done for once finished.
Yeah, but what I suggest, so that those are just a few of the features. What Google is looking for is people that are interested in making sure there's a good user experience. Engagement. They want user engagement. That's why when someone comes and does a search on Google, they're going for the 0-click results. So it's like if you type in how to blah, 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 and a YouTube video comes up, they will timestamp it where your answer is. That is a 0-click answer, right? So if you've given a lot of information on your blog posts, you've got your services detailed on there, and you update it like once a week. And I suggest clients spend 10 minutes a week updating something. Google will see that you're engaged. And if you have maybe less reviews than your next competition, because you're engaged and they're not, you could outrank them.
Brilliant. So the next question is reviews.
Yes. Reviews are hugely important, and replying to the reviews are very, very important. Whether they're 1-star or 5-star, you should reply to all of them. And going with a 5-star company, trying to get 5-star reviews is perfect, but don't beat yourself up if you're a 4.7 or a 4.8. As my grandmother used to say, nobody walks on water. People are going to have bad days, whether it's at your company or the client, or maybe it's just a rogue review that doesn't relate to you, but your responses to them.
Right. And sometimes it's actually just client perception rather than reality. And that can be damaging. Is somebody can say, I didn't like the toilets, or the receptionist pointed me the wrong way and I had to take 5 extra steps to get to the attorney's office.
Some are that silly. Some are disgruntled employees, right? But you're replying to them. So if you reply to each of your reviews, what you're telling Google is, I care about the next customer that comes through because I'm going to talk to these people. You thank them using whatever words that are key in your reply. And if it's a 1-star, reply professionally. Is it real? Would you apologize? Would you explain what happened? Is it not real? This person was never a client. I've never met with this person before. I'd be happy to help you, blah, blah, blah. Just something kind, because it's Amazon has made us all look at reviews and made them important, right? So when I'm looking for somebody, I'm going to look at those 1-star reviews. I'm going to see, can I tell the person was just having a crappy day? Yeah. But I also want to see how the business responded. Right? Okay. And that tells you a lot.
Yeah, 100%. And you've talked about feeding information to Google so that it better understands you. And up until now, it's been posts and the name of my company, the address, the products and services. I've been feeding information myself. Reviews is feeding information to Google from somebody else. How can you leverage that to most effect?
I would go one step further and go questions and answers. Okay. So with reviews, if you do not have it as part of your business process, every time you finish a free consultation, every time you finish a case, if it's not part of your business process to ask for a review, today it becomes that. It is hugely important. And staying on the idea of reviews, you can't go and say, okay, you know what? I've had 40 cases and I've never asked anybody for a review. I'm going to go ask them all. Well, if you get 20 reviews this week and you average 2 a month, none of those are going to be put on, right? They're going to be gatekeeped. That's just the way Google does it, because you come in too frequent. So if you're behind, then this week ask for 2.
Right.
Next week ask for 2. But make it part of your business process so that every single time you finish a job that could be reviewed, you ask for a review.
What I hear here, from the 10 minutes a week to asking for a regular number of reviews over time, is steady wins the game.
Exactly.
Right. So stick to steady. And I've seen on the reviews section of Google Business Profiles lots of tabs, and then you can click on it. And those are generated, from what I understand, by the contents of the reviews. So getting people to talk about the things, for example, marriage, divorce, specifics about that in the reviews is really helpful. How can you frame your request to get people to say useful things that will help both the users and Google?
Well, you can give them ideas of what to write, but you don't do anything that'll be copy and paste, because it looks unrealistic if everybody said the same thing. But you could give them ideas of what to say.
Okay.
And then
brilliant.
if they don't say everything, the obviously confidential information, on your reply, you can actually say, it was a pleasure to handle your motorcycle accident. I'm glad that we were able to get you, you bring in those keywords if they're not saying it. So yeah, your reply also can help solidify that review and the information you want to get through.
Brilliant. I mean, that's a really good piece of advice, is that if the clients don't say it, you can still say it in your reply. Feed that information to Google. What would you do next after the reviews?
Q&As. So we think of Q&As as, I can't ask the question because I'm the business. Well, you're not just waiting for people to ask the question. Every single attorney has FAQs, right? People ask the same question with the same practice area. Everybody has the same questions. So once a week, add a Q&A, ask the question and answer it. And be deliberate about, okay, this is the question people ask. Be super deliberate about your answer, because you're telling Google, if this question ever comes up, these are our answers. And you may beat a 0-click result. Right.
Yeah, and the Google Business Profile, and you're coming back to that 0-click result, you said it multiple times, and that appears to be significant, is don't expect people to visit your website. They may well just make a decision right there on Google.
It's potential that they can just hit the button and call you.
Right. So after I've done my reviews, what do I do next?
Once a week or once a month, put a post on it. You want to also, so now we get everything on there and we know what our next steps are. We're going to put our hours of operation.
Yeah.
Okay. We want a phone number, so it's click to call. If you want to click to your link to your calendar, all of the things you possibly can. Photos, videos. Now, if you take a photo of the front of your office, don't let it stay named image 1942 blah 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 .jpg. Name it the company name, name it the city, name it the service that you're providing. Then upload as many pictures as you can on the pictures of your people. People do business with people they know, like, and trust. Okay. Do a little video, an intro video talking about what you do for your clients, and welcome them to come to the office or call. Right? You just put all of that out there.
Yeah, you mentioned know, like, and trust. And what just struck me is you just walked us through those 3 elements in one single panel, which is the Google Business Profile.
Exactly.
Is there anything else I need to do as an attorney to move that needle on know, like, and trust in that one panel?
I would watch your insights. So again, that's in your management portal, and you can see how people are using your Google Business Profile. How many searches did you show up in? How many times have they clicked to call or clicked directions or gone to your website? Right.
Oh, okay.
So just keep adding stuff. There's no limit. So you'll reach a point where there's a limit of photos, and then that'll be increased in the future. But I would put videos and photos, put your logo up there so that that's sensitive people see it, but adding posts, adding more services, updating stuff, right? Now, especially as we're coming into the holidays, right? It's going to be super important that your hours of operations are up to date. So along the holiday time, when people do a search and say you come up, it will have a little red note that says last updated. So assume that there's 3 and you're the only one that's recently updated. And how many people do you think are going to click on someone else if they know that you've updated your profile?
Right. Okay. And you mentioned being consistent with what I would call name, address, phone number, NAPS, which
Exactly.
is the local business. How important is that to go around the rest of the web and correct the name, address, phone number, or
Huge.
whatever?
Huge. I mean,
Okay.
as detailed as like spelling out the word sweet as opposed to STE, right? You need to be exactly the same everywhere that you're listed. So if you're on the Chamber of Commerce website, if you sponsor a softball or a little kids t-ball team and they link back to you, make sure that every directory listing you have, every website you're listed on has your name, address, and phone number exactly the same. That's the one
Right.
thing that's going to take you more time is finding the place. So I'd set up a spreadsheet, have your assistant set up a spreadsheet, and just make a note of everywhere you are and just double check it's correct.
What I find really interesting, that was kind of a leading question, because the NAPS, the name, address, phone number consistency across the web, is exactly what we find is vitally important when we're managing the personal brand of an attorney themselves as opposed to the business. We just talked about the business. CADIQ looks after the personal brand of the attorney, and it's incredibly important that the information about the people in the company is also consistent.
Exactly. And with your Google Business Profile, you have one for the business. You also can have practitioner listings. Okay.
How
So
does that work?
say there's a Barnard and Jenkins law firm. Okay. Now I can go in and go, okay, under our law firm, I want a practitioner listing and it's just me. You could do the
Okay.
same thing. So when you talk about that personal brand, a lot of law firms, it is the attorney, right? It's their shingle they hang out. However, whenever it gets to the point where there's multiple partners and the name's changed and it's 3 or 4 names, now you have practitioners. So it's called that because, thinking medical and stuff, it just works across the board. It's called a practitioner listing. But your principals can have their own Google Business Profile.
Right. So it's a separate Google Business Profile. You have one for the company, and then one for each of the leading attorneys.
Yeah, because if you think about it, you when 2 attorneys come together or multiple come together, they each bring their own brand, their own reputation, their own reviews type thing. So it makes sense to be able to have a practitioner listing, and it can all be linked together. And even from in the post, talk about the particular practitioner and link to their Google Business Profile.
Right. And what are the differences between the individual practitioner profile and the company profile, the practice
There
profile?
isn't.
Okay.
As far as the features, they're the same.
So the practitioner would go through and, or the individual attorney, and post and add the specific services they offer that perhaps the other attorneys don't offer within that.
Yeah, I mean, you could use the same post, just instead of branding it for the company, you brand it for yourself. So you could literally have your assistant or one of the assistants or intake people, in their spare time, take care of this for you. Because in your Google Business Profile, you can assign a manager, which is when we work with our clients, we are a manager. This is a asset that is a very valuable asset for you as your personal brand and as the company. So you never want to give anybody administrative permission on that. You want them to be managers. That way they can make changes, but they can't make dramatic changes. They can't delete it. They can't, give it to someone else. It's one of those things you need to be very careful with. But setting up a manager is very easy.
Okay. And all of this is very much DIY, or do you need a professional to help?
You don't need a professional to help if you have the time to spend some time each week doing it. What we do when we help our clients do this, we go above and beyond in that we do an article every week. We also syndicate that article out. We put the article on your website. So we're providing consistent content for you.
Okay. And if I understand correctly, you've written a book about this, which is generally for local businesses, but a lawyer would find this super useful as well. And it's
Exactly.
managing the Google business profile. I really wanted to talk about lawyers in particular and attorneys, which is really generous of you to talk about specifically that, but this actually applies to anybody. That was brilliant, Marilyn. Have you got anything that I didn't ask that you really feel is important for attorneys managing their Google business profile?
I would say if you haven't looked at it in a long time, do. It's that very important. Absolutely. Go, make sure you have it, verify it, claim it. If you haven't done that, it's so very important for local business and local law firms to be the go-to attorney in your area, to be the one that updates the Google business profile often.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Quick goodbye to end the show. Thank you, Marilyn.
Your corporate and personal brands are what Google and AI say they are. We can give you back control. CaliCube.